Still too many steps. APRS. Oh, hey. Why do I have to have so many places to set the APRS settings? I'm not seeing where I can set my smart beacon. It's on. All right. There you go. Oh, I just got this thing. I'm still figuring it out. I am out for a little hike along the St. Croix River, and I got with me something that I've gotten out of the habit of carrying when I go on my little local hikes, and that's an HT. There's not a lot of repeaters I can hit in this area, and there's no traffic on them. And I just got out of the habit because I didn't hear much. And as you might have heard there, I'm messing around with APRS for the first time in probably a year or two. And what got me back into it is this handheld itself. VGS makes a version of it here that I got right here, the VRN76. There's a B-Tech branded version, the UR Pro, which I happen to have one of those as well. They're slightly different. These aren't new radios. They've been out for quite a few years. All the YouTubers that you know and love to watch have done many videos on them. The Comms channel has a whole playlist on these things, as do others. I think Temporarily Offline has a playlist on them too. Nothing new, but since I'm late to the game, I thought I might as well go over why I bought two of these things. And it's the first time I bought a handheld in probably 3 or 4 years. All right, so as a guy that pretty much gave up on carrying a handheld with them and on APRS and all that stuff, and I haven't bought a HT for several years, why have I gone out and buy two of them? Well, this thing solves a lot of problems and has renewed my interest in stuff that I kind of walked away from. Like I said in the beginning, there's not much use for a handheld in my area. I just don't talk on them that much. Talk all the time on the mobile unit in my vehicles and at home, but I just don't got the reach to do what many of you get to do, like hit up the repeaters from your living room with a handheld. That would be sweet. But where my interests were was I like to mess around with WinLink and Packet and be able to send an email or some type of a message out with just a handheld in my phone. I got the Apple, so I've been playing with radio mail, which is fantastic. The problem was there's too much friction involved, meaning there's too many moving pieces, too many widgets I have to use. In order for all my other handhelds, I would need some type of TNC interface, whether it's a DigiRig or a MobiLink, and that involved plugging something into the phone and then plugging it into the radio and on the Bluetooth, and syncing the Bluetooth and getting the settings on one app dialed in for the TNC, and then going to the radio mail app to send a message and stand on your foot while you rub your belly and pat your head and all that stuff. And basically got too much of a hassle, too much friction. And what I really wanted was a handheld like one of these that had a built-in TNC like this one does. Now at that time, when I was messing around with Packet, that was right when the latest radio from Kenwood came out, the D75, which had a built-in Bluetooth TNC, but was $700, or still is, like $750. I ain't spending that kind of money on something that's pretty cool, but was, let's face it, it's more of a novelty than a requirement. But this guy came out and I watched some videos on it and everything, and it did pique my interest, but I never bit the hook on it. I liked how this had the TNC built in. I liked the other features of it being, you know, IP67, batteries charged with USB-C, all the things that are that put a check in the box on what I look for in a good handheld. But this thing punches way above its weight class. You know, for less than $200, you have all of that, TNC, and this thing is built pretty dang good. I'm pretty impressed with these things. So I got the B-Tech version. Oh, let me back up. I didn't quite answer my question of why I got back into it, or how I got back into it, why I bought these. Is actually because I bought B-Tech's version, the GMRS radio, the GMRS Pro. I bought that because I was intrigued with the app that comes with the phone, as far as setting it up, programming it, cloning other radios with it. I thought that was pretty cool as I go down the GMRS route more and more. And I was just blown away with the app on how well that worked with the radio. So that was the thing that pushed me over the edge to get this B-Tech version. I see a lot of practicality on it. And as I started looking more into, you know, as I mentioned, all the playlists and videos that people have, over the past year have made on this thing, I got interested again in APRS because, for one thing, this radio solves the problem that's always been with APRS handhelds. Is typically you'd have to set it up like I have now, just out of habit, where you put the APRS frequency on the lower VFO, and then your upper VFO would be for repeaters or simplex or whatever. And that always sucked for me because if I have a radio of 2 VFOs, I'm losing one of them just for APRS. This one sets up where it will, you can designate a channel for APRS, and it doesn't have to be one that you're monitoring. You could be monitoring your simplex frequency of choice and a repeater of choice and still be doing APRS in the background. And when it's time to send a beacon, it just automatically switches in the background, sends out the signal, and away you go. So that's pretty cool. That kind of brought me back into exploring APRS a little bit more for that convenience. And also, and this is a subject for a different video, but I had a shift in reality on what my expectations are for APRS. When I first got into the hobby, I was all excited about APRS, and I was severely disappointed because APRS in this area did not live up to my expectations. And that's nobody's fault but my own. My expectations were just silly. Now that I have a more basis of how useful it is around here, especially with a handheld, my mindset's changed. And now we go back to the features of this radio with the built-in TNC and the app for your phone. This radio will turn your phone into an eye gate, which is pretty dang cool. Yes, I know the purists saying if APRS is so wonderful, you still need a cell phone connection to make it work. I totally get that, but again, it's into the expectations of what it's really capable of around in my area. So that's the gist of it. I really like these radios. I could go through each of the specs in the details, but it's been covered 100 times before. I love the fact that I can do a firmware update by just tapping on my phone in the app, where it says there's an update available, would you like to update it, which is awesome, instead of jumping through all the hoops that radios normally take to update firmware. If you're not a tech savvy guy like me, you just don't do it. These are the only radios I've ever updated firmware on, so pretty cool. And yeah, to be completely honest, I like these radios so much. Granted, I've only been using them for a few months now, but I like them so much, I am getting rid of all my other handhelds, HTs for ham radio. With the exception of one, I'm keeping one because it has digital capabilities, which these don't, which is fine by me, because if these were digital, it'd be DMR, and DMR sucks. So I'll keep my old Yaesu FT3D so I can use that with my hotspot and all that kind of stuff. But other than that, I'm getting rid of all my other radios, the handhelds, that is. These two will cover me from here to beyond. If anything, I might pick up a third. So expect to see me messing around with packet radio again. I got plans to get back into the WinLink, so you'll be seeing me doing that in a much more simpler manner with these radios. I'm also looking at setting up an APRS bulletin board system. So that would greatly improve the functionality for me and the people around me who would want to play around with that. So expect to see a little stuff like that, a little more packet radio, APRS, that kind of stuff, because I see the usefulness of it. I've always seen the usefulness of it. I just got frustrated and quit messing with it, so frustrations are over.